Hi everyone, and welcome back to my second client tutorial. As always, I'm going to be doing a voiceover on this beautiful young lady using the Huda Rose Nude palette. So here we are, just starting off cleaning her face. She did mention that her face is on the dry side. Now here we're just cleaning up just a little bit more, and then next we are just putting on a little bit of a prep on the lips, which is a conditioner, and that is a mix of the MAC conditioner also with the Best Damn Beauty by Nicole Guerrero. I put some gel little under eyes, so then that way by the time we get underneath there is nice and smooth. Here we're just doing the normal, just prepping the eyelids with a mix of MAC Pro Longwear NW20 and NW25, and I believe I was just using one of the Morphe little small brushes, which I can't recall which one it was. I just speeded it up a little bit because everybody gets the drift on here. That way it's not so boring and long. Here I'm just going to be getting one of my little small Real Technique little blenders and just buffing everything out so everything can be nice and seamless. Now we're just going to grab the MAC Studio Fix NC41 just to powder everything with one of the small Real Technique brushes. And once I'm done with that, making sure everything is nice and smooth, I go with my first shadow, and the first one is called Play. It's going to be the transition color as well, and just going circles and back and forth until I get the amount that I want. Here I'm just speeding it up as I mentioned before, so that way it's not so long. The next color we're going to be using is Teddy. We're going to use that more in the corner, and I'm actually using the M266 brush, which is one of my favorite brushes. You guys need to get this brush. It's really, really good. Just going back and forth like windshield wiper motion, so that way it just gravitates more towards the corner, because she did send me a picture, which I don't have the picture, but she has it on her phone, so I just went with that. We're trying to mimic that. Now we're going to use another color, and it's, I believe, called Spank. So it should be coming up really soon. And there we go. It's called Spank. Yes. With the number 766 Medallion brush, I'm just going towards the corner and just starting to bring the color in and making it as a V shape at first. This brush is amazing. It's kind of like a slanted brush, and it picks up really, really nice. If you ladies do not have these brushes, you should go on. It's really good, and they're not that bad. They're really affordable. So here we're just, like I mentioned, just starting to press it in there, so then that way it can start showing a little bit more, because I start off slowly and start putting more and more, because a little bit goes better than too much. Now we're just grabbing that number 266 by MAC, and we're just blending it in slowly. Try not to take off a lot. These shadows are really buttery, and this palette is really good. It's on the expensive side, but the money I spend on it is every penny. Over here we're just going back and forth like windshield wiper motions, and soon we're going to be doing the cut crease, since the picture that she did show me has a little bit of that rose gold sparkle, and I mixed a few glitters to try to get it to the best of my knowledge of what she liked on that rose gold glitter. And again, here we're just going back and forth now, so then that way everything is nice and seamless. We're going back with the battalion. Going to be putting the cut crease, and I did use actually two, the NW20 and NW25 concealer, so that should be coming up really shortly. I just make her just close her eyes for a few moments, so then that way I can make sure exactly, because she does have a beautiful space of eyelid. Her eyes are not hooded. I'm just making her look with her eyes open. Sorry about that. I'm just looking at my cat that she just wants me to pet her, but truly sorry about that. I'm just making sure that it doesn't go over where it should be. Here I'm just gonna kind of make it go a little bit faster, because you get the deal here. And that way it's not such a long video. But again, if you guys like these videos, just give it a thumbs up. I do not mind doing these videos and do the voiceovers. It's pretty fun. Shortly, I am going to be grabbing one of the new MAC Dazzle. It's like a gold color. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of it right at this moment in time, but they are beautiful. They're really good for prom season now. So there, in a few seconds from now, we're just going to be patting that in, and it's kind of like a gold color. As I mentioned, I am mixing like 2 of 3, so that way it could come to almost the color of the glitter that she did show me on the picture, which is the rose gold. So she didn't mind playing around with the colors. And yeah, we were just having a little bit of fun here. I believe we are going to be grabbing one of the glitters from the Huda palette, and it's called Infatuated. It's more of a rose gold, which I mixed it. I put that rose gold on top of the MAC Dazzle glitter, as I mentioned, and I used one of my flat bedazzle brushes, which is really good. I couldn't find my other small little brush that I use for glitters, and I realized that it wasn't actually picking up as I wanted it, So what I did was I kind of like put my finger in it because these glitters are so soft. So I put my finger, as you saw a few seconds ago, and then I just kind of pressed it in so that way it stays put. It does have a little bit of fallout, but what glitter does not have any fallout? Then I believe I grabbed again. I put a little bit of pearl of the Sultry palette, which I don't think that it's not in this clip. My battery actually died. But on top of that, I also put a little bit of pearl. And what I did was I took Bite, which is a really dark color from the Huda palette, to make it a little bit darker. Kind of like a smoky eye look because she did want it a little bit intense. With the same Bedallium brush, which is, I believe, the number 766. Here I'm just going a little bit quick so that way you guys can see exactly what I am referring to. And just going over, like on top of the glitter, so then that way it's not so harsh. Whatever is left on that brush, I'm just going around her eyelid. And here, as you can see, using my ABH palette for the eyebrows, and I believe the color I used, it was Granite, if I'm not mistaken. Since her eyebrows are really dark, I didn't want to do it too light, so I used the darkest one, and it's called Granite, as I mentioned just now. Her eyebrows are beautiful, so I was just putting it where she had a little bit of less hairs. Didn't do them too thick or anything like that. We're going to be in a few moments starting to prep her face. So then that way her face is very moist. And that I am using the Amberlease. And I believe I use Amberlease and a little bit of, I believe is the MAC Strobe. I'm so sorry. Pouncing everything in so that way it's nice and penetrated. The lashes that we decided to use are the Doodoo D001 lashes, and the lash glue that I used was the Tarte lash glue in black. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Primer Radiant, which this is going to be my first time using that, with a mix of the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. I mixed about 3 foundations for her, the MAC Pro Longwear NW42, the NARS Caracas, and then just to lighten up some areas, the Makeup Forever number 405, and just use my beauty blender just to blend everything in. Makeup Forever I used on kind of the forehead and under the eyes, and I used that just to brighten it up, just to make sure that she had a little bit of brightness to her. I went all the way down to her neck, and then I changed it up with my Real Technique brush, since she was gonna have kind of like a low cut outfit, and that way it kind of blends all in. nice and seamless as always. And this is just getting a fast forward and you get the drift. That way you see that it's coming all into play. And this is how what I mentioned just a little while ago, just to brighten it up a little bit. Just buffed it in really, really well. And this is where I brightened up her under eyes, so that way it can just be a little bit brighter. Not too much, because she's very simple. And then I just took one of my Morphe brushes, which I am so sorry, I have no idea. I think this was from one of my Live Glam packages. I used the bronzer, the Huda Benefit, like on her forehead, on her cheek, her nose, just to give a little bit of like a bronzy look. And then I picked up here the MAC Give Me Sun. And I believe that is the Sigma F20, which this brush is really, really good. Here I'm just using two blushes just to give it a little bit of a rosiness on her cheeks. And I used two brushes, I'm sorry, not two brushes, but two colors, a mix of, I believe, buff and being frank scarlet. And here I'm just putting a liner, which is the liner by MAC, the MAC, I think it's the MAC Pro Longwear liners, which is really, really good. So then that way nothing shows. And the little brush that I'm using, I actually got it through the Hobby Lobby. Here I'm just putting a little bit of Laura Mercier, just a little bit. The brush I can't recall. I believe it is also Morphe. And then just use the same colors underneath. And I'm using the same colors from the Huda palette. And this is the dark color, which is the Teddy. And the brush that I'm actually using is the MAC 266. I'm just making sure that her eyes don't get kind of watery. Here, as you can see, I'm just using a disposable mascara wand. And I still have a little bit of the Laura Mercier. So then that way, just in case if anything falls out, we can just swipe it away. And then I'm just using, I believe, a dark color from one of the ABH palettes called Bite, which is really black, just to bring out those both colors together. Then here I'm just swiping the Laura Mercier powder off to make it nice and seamless. Here we're just going to be using that Van Nuys spray, which makes everything just stay put. And then just putting a little bit, one of the highlighters from the Laura Mercier. Then here just using Share from the Gerard Cosmetics liner. So then that way we can go back with two MAC lipsticks, which I do apologize, I cannot recall. And then I mixed it with a little bit of a MAC gloss. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and wait for her reaction.
I like it. I can't like stop looking at my eyebrows. Like
you love the eyebrows.
Yeah, I always love the eyebrows. Looks nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
I love the lashes actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like these ones better than the last one.
Oh, okay. The colors are beautiful.
Yeah. I'm ready to go out.
Ready to go out?
Yes, ready to dance.